When I climbed on my first bronc, and I was ready to put the spurs into the shoulders, I felt on top of the world. I never thought about the pain and misery I was causing the animals.
And the cowboys always say, we love our animals. They don't abuse them. They give them good feed and water and transportation. I said, all that is true. That's not my problem. I said, the problem is what happens to the animals in the arena.
I know the rodeo cowboys feel that rodeo is a big part of the history of this area. There is a lot of ranching around here. They feel that rodeo and cattle ranching tie in together and that there's an important tradition to protect.
I grew up around cattle, and I've worked on beef ranches. In mixed practice, I had a dairy and beef practice in Northern California. On ranches, people on ranches do not do anything that happens on a rodeo. And farm animals in the United States are not allowed to be treated the way the animals are in rodeos.
Ranchers don't treat their calves that way. Ranchers do not make their horses buck. I never saw any of my ranch clients ride a bull, ever. So ranching and rodeo are two very different occupations.
Rodeos are legalized animal cruelty. They involve scaring animals and tapping into the prey instinct of cows and other animals, and there's no way to do that humanely.
I do not consider rodeo a sport. True sport denotes equally matched contestants willingly there in the arena. Rodeo does not comply.
All animals in rodeos are sentient. So sentience means that you have emotions, that you have feelings, that you can think about the future, that you have form bonds with other animals, you have friends, you have kin, family members. So there's no question they're sentient. There's no question that they have emotions. And that, in fact, is why they are used for rodeo. The calf in a rodeo event, for a calf roping, would not run if it wasn't afraid. It runs because it's afraid for its life. The first behavior that's telling is the animal's trying to escape. So that's avoidance behavior. Fleeing, vocalization. They're prey animals, so their first thing is to try to get away. So it's running, and then the person jumps onto the animal and grabs it by the horns. Now it can't get away anymore. And so the person then twists the neck. That would be no different than our neck being twisted. The animal wouldn't fall down if it wasn't being hurt. So the pressure applied is enough to make the animal lose its balance and to give up rather than continue to fight. That's cruel. That's abuse of animals. On any commercial farm in the United States, that person would be fired. If that's an undercover video, that person would be charged with animal cruelty.
Calf roping is the most egregious event in rodeo. These animals are injured more frequently than any of the other animals. When you're roping one of these little calves, they weigh about 250 pounds, 300 pounds. The rope stops that calf cold and the body keeps going. I did some research and found a paper in Colorado where a veterinarian there had examined the necks on these roping calves that had been roped over and over again. He found a lot of hemorrhages, he found broken blood vessels, he found damage to the thyroid, damage to the muscles in the neck, to the ligamentum nuchae, which is the ligament that holds the neck to the body. And unfortunately, these calves are used over and over again, so there never is a time for those calves to heal. They may not be used over and over again in the same rodeo, but these rodeos are 2 or 3 days apart. Horses in general are not wild animals. They're used to being around humans. So in a rodeo, they have to do something to make them buck. And the flank strap is the prime source of the bucking in a rodeo. It's irritating to the horse. They don't like it, so therefore they want to get rid of it. And if you combine that with the spurring, you have to drive these metal spurs into that animal's flesh. So driving the spurs into this horse's shoulders hurts. And the combination between the flank strap and the spurring is what really makes that horse buck.
The rodeo livestock live their lives doing what they love, performing and competing for rodeo fans all over the western U.S. We love our rodeo livestock almost as much as they love what they do. Be sure to remind them how much you love them by cheering on these fantastically talented animals. They are not there having fun. And the cowboys must know this. I think part of it is they feel they're losing a lot of their culture. They bring up the circuses and the fairs, SeaWorld, and how those entertainment industries are changing. And they don't like it. They admit, they have said at our hearings that they don't like to see these changes. And it's because their tradition is at risk. Their form of entertainment is at risk.
SeaWorld and Ringling Brothers both provide examples where both the public and the corporations, and oftentimes governments as well, recognize that the entertainment value of seeing these animals perform tricks doesn't outweigh the harm that's being caused to those animals. Advocating for animals isn't about being against a particular culture. It's about promoting a culture of kindness and compassion, and that's something that I think everybody universally can appreciate and take part of.
I've been doing rodeo work since the mid-'80s, and at the time, as I say, there was much to admire about the sport, I thought. But then I got to watching what happened to the animals over time. And now I've come to the belief that I don't think there's any justification whatsoever for continuing this. Some traditions truly deserve to die.